Yo, what's happening? A buddy of mine asked me to do a quick vid of the fish room. So quick vid turned into a little bit of a longer video. So I thought I'd share it. So here it is, we walk into the fish room here. And there's a few things I'll quickly mention before I get into the details of it. This was an unfinished basement. I put in this wall here that I'm looking at. This is actually an in-wall tank. On the other side of that wall is my office. I work from home a lot. And that's kind of when I'm sitting doing work at home, I've got that front of the tank sitting right above my desk. So I'll show you that another time. But this was an unfinished basement, and I kind of put all these walls up here myself with a good friend of mine. Actually, I'll kind of go through the build maybe later, but you know, a good friend Bob helped me out quite a bit putting this wall up, and then the custom stand and everything. It's a 220 Starfire front, custom drilled. I've you know, kind of, there's a few custom things with a bean animal on the side. Again, I can get more into the tank build a little bit later, but this is more about the room itself. When you first come in, I got a utility sink here. One of the challenges with this room, quite frankly, was I didn't have any plumbing, and that the main stack, because I'm in the basement, the main stack ran above me. So if I was going to put any plumbing down here, I needed to install a battery-operated pump, which you can't see here. I put the drain from the sink, popped it through the hole in the wall. On the other side of the wall is kind of like my utility side where my furnace and stuff is. I put in a pump that will, you know, catch up the water as it builds up. On a float switch, the pump turns on and kicks into my main stack, which is the floor above. So, again, if any questions about how that was, feel free to comment or something. I'll get to you. That was a whole different project in itself. So, all fully automated, you know, RDI system booster pump brings up to around 80 psi. I run 100 gallons per day. And I actually just changed out all my filter set with the membrane. I haven't changed out my filters in probably a year and a half, a lot longer than I typically go. But my TDS was still staying pretty solid. And finally I figured, what the hell, it's been a while. I've replaced all the filters in, the DI membrane, everything. Just, I don't know, a couple days ago actually. So from this, I even have RODI on tap. So if I need to, I can hit that and get quick RODI. You can never have, obviously, too much RODI water. And this basin I got from, I don't know, Home Depot or whatever. And it just has my, I put in a separate faucet that's hooked up directly to my RODI. It feeds up. I have the booster pump up here, which I wired to a switch. So I can turn the switch on, turn the booster pump on. It is all wired with float switches. I mean, I'm sorry, the auto shut-offs and everything, solenoids. So if I forget about it for whatever reason, it does automatically turn off also, although I manage it very well. With the switch up here, it's really just two things I got to do. I just hit that switch, the booster pump goes on, turn on my water supply, and I'm flowing water. Typically I flush for the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, maybe not even that, it's probably exaggerating, but I don't switch the float valve here, the switch valve open, I close all the other ones, and I actually just drain and flush that entire system, really until the pump starts to suck dry a little bit. Then I crank it back open and I float, and I actually have a tee off here. You may notice I've got a drinking spout with a you know, so I actually fill up my own drinking water. It's a 5-gallon you know, water cooler jug. So I always have fresh RO all the time, drinking water, which I tee off before it gets to the DI. And then on the outside of the DI, it comes out. You know, I got a T and then some valves here, so I can do my auto top off, which is marked by red. I know that's red, by the way. See, it's red over here. I'm not sure if you can see the color. It's pretty blue in here with the LEDs on. But I keep these multicolored tapes always handy, man, always, because I'm always labeling stuff just to make it neat and organized as much as I can. Anybody that has a fish room knows that it can get pretty disorganized quickly, so anything to make it easy to identify quickly and easily is the idea. And of course, this one's not labeled. This one goes over to my my saltwater mixing tank. So both on float switches, right? I can set the exact heights, so I can actually run them both wide open. I'll make about 70 gallons. I can forget all about it if I wanted to. The float valve will shut off. You know, obviously it'll come back here. There's a pressure switch that senses that back pressure, turns off everything. The solenoid will turn off the water flow, and it'll turn off the booster pump. So I could theoretically forget about everything, go away for a day, 2 days, whatever, and the RODI will be fine. Underneath there, I've got a, you know, it's a quick, small little college dorm fridge just for essentials. I've got
frozen food. I have RODI ice cubes, and if you ever need anybody that has an enemy, I can talk about that story a little bit later, but that's a funny one. It's always nice to have RODI ice cubes in case you got to pull an enemy out. As you can see, I'm loaded with these NEMs. I probably have 50 of them. They keep multiplying on me, so it's nice to be able to pull them out of my display and do things with them. So anyway, foods. I got shrimp. I have my Larry's Reef food, LRS. I've got PE mysis, whatever, Celcon in there, whatever. But it's nice to be able to have that. So moving along, here's my frag tank. I'll get through my whole system a little bit later, but again, this is more about the room itself. So underneath I've got my calcium reactor, and it probably looks pretty funny. I've got my calcium in out dosing containers there. So why do I have both set up, the calcium reactor and the dosing? And quite frankly, I don't know the answer to that. I kind of got frustrated with my calcium reactor. It was I don't know, I didn't maybe have it dialed in real well. Anyway, I quickly set up this dosing system. I've been so happy with it. I just haven't turned back to the calcium reactor. I'm sure one of these days I will. But I'm getting the bulk. I'm mixing it myself, the calcium and the alk. I'm getting the bulk from BRS. You'll notice I'm a BRS fanboy and Ecotech fanboy too. I kind of fully admit some of that. But bulk reef systems, man, I gotta tell you, they kick ass. And anything I can do really aquarium wise, I typically will buy from them, which is great. So they have this bulk stuff where you can mix your calcium alkalinity. Check out their video if you haven't heard about it, but it's a pretty slick system. It's cheap, it's easy, and I have that hooked up to, when you know it, just the BRS dosing pumps, right? So I got them too running on my RKE. The part 1 and part 2, calcium and alk, just dropping right into my sump here. Okay, now again, this wasn't going to be a build video. It's more about the room. Probably the third time I've said that by now, but you know what I mean. So I'll get more into that. But again, so I've gone with the calcium and the alkaline in the 2-part dosing for now. I'm sure once I run out of that stuff, sooner or later I'll probably go back to the calcium reactor. But for now, I'm doing dosing. So, and been happy with it, by the way. Here you can kind of see. So I'm pretty rock solid here. My alk is nailed. And that, it's maybe starting to climb or creep a little bit, but the dosing is a home run. So, okay, anyway, getting back to the water, I probably should do another different video. I don't want to make this one too long, but my water change system probably could be better with a room like this. Obviously, I've got it all pre-plumbed and ready to go. You'll notice down there I've got an outlet of my plumbing. So I have it ready to go for an auto water change if I wanted to. When I say auto water change, I don't mean actually hooking it up to a dosing pump and doing it continuously. I mean with just a quick valve turn on one side, a quick valve turn on another side, and boom, let it go. It's all plumbed and ready to go for that. I just haven't finished the plumbing, and quite frankly, my water change, the way I have it worked out now, is so easy. I have these things up here that clips on. I hang this on one side. I've got a shut-off valve, and this actually comes out. This is the one piece that comes out. I'm having a little bit of a hard time doing it, but that comes out, and that depth is set. I know if I hooks up that's going to be a 50-gallon water change. Then I've got another one, a shorter one, which I don't have out, but I stick the bulkhead in so I don't suck anybody in. But that's a 50-gallon water change when I put that in. I've got another one that's cut to 25 gallon, so it's shorter. And I know that when I hook that over the side, that once the water drops to that much, I'm doing a 25-gallon or a 50-gallon water change. So it makes it real simple. And then the other you probably notice I easily just flip that and put it into my bucket here, my kitchen sink, and there it goes, right? It goes right down. And on this side, I already have plumbed in a tube here. This tubing, I can just quickly unravel, throw it in there into my pump that's already on. By the way, everything is on a DJ mixing amp, so boom, there's my return pump, or my salt water mixing tank turned off, and I flip it back on, I'm flowing water back into the tank. So, listen, out of 100, I'm probably around an 85 to an 88, so I'm in the B plus range. I know it can be better. I may do a liter meter one of these days, but for now I'm perfectly satisfied with that, the way I'm doing a water change. It's pretty simple stuff. So anyway, getting back, so yeah, the calcium, the alk, the sump. Again, I'm not going through the whole build of the tank. Some of the equipment, I do run 3 radions. So real quick, getting back to the actual building of the stand. The stand has all, and by the way, this entire wall in front too, this entire stand and wall in front was built with pressure treated lumber for decks. It's actually deck lumber. Okay, so it's made to be outdoors. I then hit it with 3 coats of Thompson's water seal, which again is that deck waterproofing, and then 2 coats of actually I'm sorry, 1 coat of polyurethane. I wanted to do a 2nd coat, never got around to it, and there was absolutely no need to do a 2nd coat because this thing is an absolute beast. Which again, I can really get more and more. You can just wipe it down with salt. It doesn't get damaged whatsoever. So, and same thing with the wall up front, all that same stuff. I also used, I don't know, you can actually see a piece sticking out over here, but that's that concrete backing board, which is you know, for bathrooms and for wet environments, basically, pretty much. And then and then I weatherproofed the whole thing. You can see weather stripping. I weather stripped the whole thing, and then I put laminate tile on top. Okay, so that's, or vinyl tiling, I should say, not laminate, I'm sorry. But you know, that's the tile that you put on your kitchen floor or something like that. Not good tile, but you know, the laminate stuff that you can cut, or whatever it's called. So this thing can take a hose down. I've also caulked and sealed the entire room. So it's all caulk and running. Now that's more to channel, if there is a major flood, to channel everything down. And on this closet here, when we get to the side of the room, this closet in there is my sump, where the water theoretically will go down and pump out, obviously. It's the sump for the house, so it's probably the safest place for that water to go if I do have a catastrophe. And then on the other side of that wall is mold-resistant drywall. So the stuff that you put in bathrooms, again. So that wall is designed to take, you know, if there is an issue, it should bounce right back. So, okay, so keeping on with the room. You'll notice here just some bathroom stuff, Vortec, some hooks on the ceiling. Kind of wrap this up. I don't want to make this too long. I probably talked for longer than I probably should have already. So just a couple things from Walmart. These are just, you know, whatever. Everyone who has a fish room will tell you can never have too much storage. So that's all the way, by the way, my calcium alkalinate and all that kind of stuff. So you know, all my measuring cups and junk drawers, right? You can see this is just all stuff that I use frequently. What's this? RODI stuff, tubing and whatnot, frag bags. Here's my quarantine drawer. So I know if I got to set up a quarantine bag, I have everything I need ready to go right here in this drawer. So I have my heaters, my filters, my my air stone, my pump, whatever. Everything I need right there. That filter, what's on the bottom? All my RODI stuff. You know. So by the way, I find that the easier you make things, the more apt you'll do them, I guess. Is what, you know. That's a perfect example. So that RODI stuff, I think I said in the beginning of the video, I hadn't changed those filters in probably well over a year and a half, probably closer to 2 years, to be perfectly honest with you. And quite frankly, it was just I never really wanted to order the stuff. So I had the stuff laying around. You know, I probably would have done it. The point is, by having backups, I'm redundant in everything, man. You know, I got backup heaters. I have backup lights. I've got backup protein skimmers. You know, whatever. You know, so it's now that I have backup RODI stuff, it's just, instead of having to be like, oh, you know what, I gotta order it and then blah blah blah, just by having it right on hand, if I feel like doing a quick filter change, I do it. Same thing with, you saw all my calcium and alk, you saw all that I had carbon, ROA or GFO, whatever you're using, they just have it on hand. You know, just have access to it. That way you don't have to order it, because you have to order it, it just slows down the process. And maybe next time when it comes in, maybe I'm not in the mood to work on the tank for a week or two, then all of a sudden whatever I was going to do, you know, is now been put off for 2 or 3 weeks, who knows. Whereas if I had it on hand, boom, it gets done right away. So anyway, it's an investment, right? So you're carrying more stuff, but boy, is it a good investment. And up here is just whatever, more storage foods, all my test kits. I test extremely frequently. You can probably tell by you have this right here. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days in a row. I normally have the dates up there, but that's, you know, I probably test 4 or 5 times a week. Right now, I mean, I go in peaks and valleys, but right now I'm about 4 or 5 times a week at least. So, you know, more and more stuff. All right.
Any questions, feel free to make a comment, whatever, contact me. I can do more detailed stuff. I think he wanted to see a few other things, but whatever. All right, man.